Hi everyone, I'm Amy Peck. I am the City Council member for District A in Houston, and the Young Republicans Club that I am a part of is Houston Young Republicans, of course. So as City Council member for District A, my jurisdiction covers Spring Branch, Inwood, Willowbrook area for the city of Houston. We are the largest council district in population in the entire city. We oversee all kinds of things, water, trash, anything related to city services. And particularly for District A, we are working on flooding issues, quality of life issues, making sure that we reduce crime. Well, I have actually really wanted to be on city council since I was very young, probably junior high. It's something that I've always really gravitated towards. I've always wanted to help people and have some career that was helping, serving others. And so I've always really gravitated towards city council. I know a lot of times people are really focused on the federal level, the state level, but for me, my heart has always been on the local level because I feel like it's the best way where you can really serve your community, um, work with the constituents every day, see the effects of the things that you've worked on. And so I've really just always loved the local level. So no matter what level of government someone is considering running for, it's tough. You really need to have a public servant mentality to do a good job, especially on the local level. And so if that's something that you have, I definitely can, hope that everyone would consider running for that. I don't know that there was one specific moment. It was probably a lot of different moments. Growing up, I used to have political talks with my dad a lot. And so I just always found it really interesting and felt like it was a great way to help a lot of people. So it's just something that I kind of always naturally gravitated towards. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely had concerns before I filed to run. One of the biggest concerns that I had was that before running for office, I was the chief of staff for the previous council member who had this seat. And before that, I was working on the state level of government. So I've been working in government for a long time, but it's always been behind the scenes. And so that's a very, very different role, going from behind the scenes to in front of the scenes. So a lot of the constituents that I had been working with for years and years kind of only knew me as behind the scenes, and that, you kind of just do your job. You're not in front fighting, you're doing all that work behind the scenes that people don't really see every single day. So, I was just concerned that, if people would see me in this other role, going from behind the scenes to in front of the scenes. So I kind of had that hurdle of showing people that I could make that jump to that position. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've had various leadership roles in different clubs, different organizations throughout the years. The YMCA, I was on the board of, just various things. But the last several years, I've really been focusing on working with civic clubs, working with neighborhoods, working with the community in every capacity that I possibly could. So that's really what I've been focused on these last several years. And so it's not always about having, a position on a board. It's a lot of times just working with the community. So that's something, if anyone is interested in running for public office, make sure that you don't forget about that community aspect of it, that you have to actually work with people. It's not just about those titles. The best part is working with the community. I love that part. It's something that I've always enjoyed, working with constituents, working on issues, trying to get things solved, like flooding, quality of life issues. I just love working on all of those things. So definitely that's the best part of my job. Worst part of my job, I don't know that there's really a worst part of my job. I really love it so much. I mean, sometimes it's challenging. There's very few conservatives on city council, so there's challenges there that come along with being not in the majority when it comes to politics. Even though city council is a nonpartisan race, there's still politics involved. So I would say that it's not the worst part necessarily, but it's maybe the most challenging part. A lot of the big cities in Texas are run by Democrats, and so it's really good to have a balance of power, no matter what level of government it is. I always think that balance is key. It's good to hear from both sides of the aisle, and then of course, you make your own decision. But it's good to have those perspectives, to have balance there, and not have it so far one direction that other points of views aren't getting in there. Well, for Houston City Council, it is supposed to be a part-time job. It is my full-time job. There's public session, council session, and a bunch of committee meetings, and then other meetings, meeting with constituents all the time. So for me, it's a full-time job, but technically it's supposed to be part-time. So you could really make it as full-time or part-time as you need for it to be. For me, it's something that I love to do, so I've made it my full-time job. Well, I would say the next step is to learn everything that you can about whatever position that you're running for. To just really take the time to learn the issues, especially if you're younger. It's going to be that much harder to win office, just because you have to prove to everyone that you know the issues. I ran before I won this time. I ran before, didn't win, but I was 24 years old when I ran the first time, and it was a lot harder because you're not taken as seriously. You have to know things better than everybody else, better than the people who have lived in a certain area their entire lives. You just really, really have to know the issues and know the community that you're running in, know everything that's happened in that community, the whole history. You have to know it that much better when you're younger and prove that you know your facts. So I would say take the time to really understand the issues, understand the community, and then go from there with that knowledge.